What up, though? I got a story for you. Bear with me, because when we get through this, it's going to be pretty enlightening. I'm going to read an article from Global Capital. It's articles about global markets. It's definitely a good read. It's called Old Money, Battle of Waterloo, Making a Killing. 200 years might have passed since Napoleon was defeated at Waterloo, but some things in war and finance do not change. Such as the absolute importance of being ahead of the game. Nathan Rothschild cleaned up on the gilt market thanks to his rapid, reliable, and finely honed communications systems that brought him news of Wellington's victory ahead of anyone else in Westminster and the city. Old Money was written by Professor Richard Roberts of King's College London, the official historian of HSBC and Schroders. Nonetheless, this is reliable. The Battle of Waterloo on June 18th, 1815, 200 years ago, finally banished the specter of Napoleon's domination of Europe. No one was more delighted than the citizens of the London Stock Exchange. Nathan Rothschild especially, as gilt soared in the good news. For the preceding 2 decades of war since the French Revolution, bond prices had been buffeted by the news from battlefields. A victory by Britain or its allies sent prices north since it reduced the risks of defeat. Default and more government borrowing. A defeat sent prices south for opposite reasons. These conditions provided plenty of opportunity for market manipulation through the manufacture of battlefield news, given that information traveled at the speed of horses in sailing ships. The most notorious scam occurred in February 1814. Napoleon was in trouble and his fall seemed likely. A bungling concert of party speculators built up huge positions in gilts, expecting prices to rise. The plan was to trade within the account, meaning that they only had to put up a modest amount of margin. But then came the news of French successes that left them facing large losses. 2 days before the end of the account, an officer dressed in the uniform of aide-de-camp to the British commander in France appeared in Dover in the middle of the night, claiming to have just crossed the channel with urgent news. Napoleon had been killed by Cossacks and the French monarchy restored. He sent word to the Dover port admiral, evidently hoping that he would inform the government via the Admiralty system of seamen for relay stations, resulting in an official announcement. But it was too foggy for the Seaman Force system to operate. The next day, around noon, an open carriage containing 3 men dressed as French royalist officers, crying "Vive le Roi!" drove around the city. Again, the story was that Napoleon was dead and the French monarchy restored. They then supposedly set off for Downing Street to tell the Prime Minister. The appearance of the royalists and their news was a tonic for gilt prices that rose 20%. But they slumped again when stock exchange messengers to Whitehall returned with confirmation. The authorities were unamused by the pantomime hoax. The stock exchange quickly identified sales by 7 individuals that stank to high heaven. Sensationally, their number included Lord Cochrane, MP, a naval hero and real-life model for Horatio Hornblower, RN. They were found guilty of fraud and jailed for a year. Cochrane went abroad and commanded the Chilean and Brazilian navies in their wars of independence, enjoying markedly greater success than in gilt manipulation. Now here is where the Rothschilds come in. Nathan Rothschild, founder of the London firm, was supremely aware of the value of early and accurate information. His firm's fortune was made by supplying the Dukes of Wellington's army in Spain and France with gold and silver coin to pay the troops. Rapid and reliable communications were crucial for his complex and risky payments and arbitrage operations. He set up a private courier system with shipping agents in Dover, Calais, and Ostend, with fast, light vessels ready to sail at any time. There were relays of horses to speed messages from the Channel to London, and a farm on the coast at Hythe for courier pigeons. As night descended at Waterloo on June 18th, a Rothschild agent dashed to Dunkirk, conveyed by a Rothschild ship and Rothschild steeds. Nathan received news of the victory on the night of Monday the 19th, just 24 hours afterwards. Wellington's official messenger didn't arrive until Wednesday evening. In the meantime, Nathan called on the Prime Minister but was refused entry by a butler because the Prime Minister was resting. With his duty done, he proceeded to the stock exchange where he was in sole possession of the momentous news. It is not known how much Rothschild made from Waterloo, but it must have been a great deal. The collective assets of the 5 Rothschild brothers in spring 1815 came to £500,000 at a time when average wage was about £50 per year. In July 1816, it was £1 million. The Iron Duke observed that Waterloo was a damn close run thing, the nearest run thing you ever saw in your life, maybe on the battlefield, but not on the stock exchange with Rothschild's information system. So basically, Nathan Rothschild, with his communication system, found a way to manipulate the London Stock Exchange and made a boatload of money. Apparently, there were other people that made money as well because they were in on the scheme. There's more to this story that's not in that article. At first, these people were funding Napoleon. And when the stock market started to crash, they bought up them stocks. Then when Napoleon looked like he was gone for good, them stocks rose and they made money. There is more to the conspiracy. If you want to dive deeper, you can. I think I've given you enough information to continue on with my opinion. This is where it gets saucy. And I'm about to get sassy too. I told you before, if you're smart, you'll start buying up stocks in the Dow right now. You'll start buying up Bitcoin, anything that's dropping, start buying it. Are we going to war with China? Or was that meeting with Elon just to talk about hypothetics? Either way, it's being talked about. And then it's in our media, so now China is talking about it too, because they know that we were talking about hypothetics or talking about going to war with them. Somehow TikTok is involved in this. Trust me. This isn't a conspiracy either. This is just seeing what's there with my open eyes. History repeats itself. You can learn a lot by reading about history, about what's happening right now. I'm telling you. We're going to Gaza. We're trying to get resources out of the Ukrainian government in exchange for our help. Big Brother is playing big bully right now. I mean, when haven't they played big bully, right? Or manipulative mother, or dominant daddy. We are quite a roller coaster of a nation, aren't we? With the different parties and the different flips and flops of the presidency, you know? Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat. When does it stop, man? I want off this ride. And that does not mean I want a dictatorship either. We just need some more parties. Anyway, why is Sir Elon in those meetings in the first place? He's got some great communication systems, doesn't he? He's also got some businesses that the U.S. government would definitely want some military contracts with. So this guy's just raking in dollars because of war or potential war. And you watch our stock market crash because of the way that the country is being ran right now. The tariffs are part of it. All the crazy talk about annexation of Canada is part of it. Removing DEI, that's the distraction. Keeping us divided and keeping us protesting in the streets over DEI rollbacks and Doge is keeping us distracted. Removing Black Lives Matter Boulevard distracted us. The president and his best friend Sir Elon and the Secretary of Defense are planning to go to war. And when we go to war, there's going to be all kinds of money made by everybody in that administration, especially Elon. Elon's going to make the most because he risked the most. $270 million in donations. Some people are saying $300 million. I'm going to stick with the lower number because it's still a hell of a lot. He gonna get that money back. Trust me. There's no way that anybody with that amount of money is going to give that amount of money to any campaign without expecting it back or expecting promises to be given. Let's go. I want that. It's my turn. Let me rearrange your budget with my Doge people. I need them government contracts. Let's crash the stock market so we can get a bunch of money when we go to war. Let's sell war bonds. They're scheming in all kinds of ways. If you pay the president $1,000, he'll let you hang out in the Oval Office on Easter. Come on, man. They're selling the presidency. This is like that televangelist talking about if you send us $1,000, you'll get all the same blessings the Israelites got during Passover. You're selling Passover now? And you're a Christian? Come on. Money!